Yeah. Is that cream color or white? Oh, we're live.
It's kind of a cream color. I know. It's like we were just talking about how we think we're matching, and it wasn't by design.
No, it wasn't by design.
I'm kind of hot though. I
Hello,
might need
Mary
to take this
Grace.
jacket off.
Is it warm where you are? Because it's pretty cool
Well,
here
I
yet.
was just gonna say, like, it's so up and down that no wonder we have like this or whatever is happening to a bunches of us. But
Yeah.
so yesterday, my children took me to a professional soccer game. The name of our team here in St. Louis is called City, CITI. And we were in an outdoor arena with t-shirts on and perfectly comfortable.
That's
Then
insane.
today, it's more like cold and rainy and like under 60 again. But then it started to switch just late afternoon. I'm like, I am so hot. Do I need to put my air on? So yeah, we keep going back and forth here. I'm sure it's happening all across the country. In fact, if you
Yeah.
are joining us, let us know where you're calling from and what your weather is like. So I take my mom to urgent care. She has bronchitis. Like people are just, with the weather changes, it's making us all sick.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
think a
luckily,
lot of people
jewelry
are.
cheers you up.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are sick. I am hearing this all over the place, you know.
Yeah, sick of the
Um,
weather, that's for sure. I'm hoping Easter is
yeah.
nice for us.
I'm just bumping us over from the studio page into the studio group.
Perfect. I'll keep
I'm adding
talking.
everybody and asking them to join. There are people joining. I see them hopping on. And I'm also
Awesome.
getting messages from people, so they have to give me a moment.
Yeah, she's doing it.
But,
So for
you
Easter
know,
in my house, we've gone to kind of a brunch format the last few years, and we do an Easter egg hunt, and I do Easter baskets for my three grandchildren and my nephew who comes, and we hide the Easter baskets and all that good stuff. So
yeah,
anyway, always
fun stuff.
something.
I
Yeah.
have as you know, I have a 23-year-old,
Yeah.
and I have all of his Easter basket stuff ready to bring up to the lake. We're actually going to have Easter at the lake. This is our first Easter at my lake out of my lake house, so I'm super
Aw.
excited about that. But I have to remember all the things from here that I need to bring because there's traditions that we do. We make pizza rustica, we make Italian Easter bread, and I need like the things to do that.
Yeah, the
So
ingredients. Yeah.
the ingredients. Oh my goodness, look at these people joining now that we bumped it over. Oh, excellent, excellent. Let me just scroll back to make sure we're live in both places. We're also live on YouTube tonight, so that's kind of fun. Thought I'd bump it in there. But we have, it looks like 25 watching. So that's really good. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much
Hi, everybody.
for
You're
joining
so
us.
smart.
Somehow oh, somebody said it's very hot, 98 degrees where they are. How nice is that? Windy in Wisconsin. Thank you so much, everybody. And everybody who on the studio group that has asked to come in is let in. So we do not have any member requests that are outstanding right now. I let in 20 some people
Awesome.
today. We are at 830 members as of right now in that group. So that's exciting. And remember, you can catch us at the Grace and Grit Studio group, the private group, or you can catch us on the Grace and Grit Studio business page. We go live in both places.
Yeah.
So, Grace, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, last week Kim was my person. So
Yeah,
I've
you
missed
guys
you
did great.
desperately. How are you? Would you like to know
Doing
some
really
things
well.
about
Thanks for
Park Lane?
asking. I'm always so happy to be with you and all of these people on Monday nights. I find this to be very fulfilling in my life. I enjoy it very much. And I enjoy interviewing you because I get a lot of feedback in the chat about how, even if they watch it more than once, they gain something new each time.
Yeah.
So I give you props for that because it's not easy to answer the same 4 questions week after week. But we do this because new people come on and we want to make sure that they understand the basics of what direct sales is and how Park Lane fits into that. So tonight,
too, they say the average person needs to be asked the same thing like 5 times.
7. The new thing is
7.
just
Okay.
7. Would you believe the average person 7 times to ask or 7 times to follow up is the average? 7. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. But what I would love to tell everybody that's watching, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. I have the distinct pleasure on Monday evenings to interview our executive company vice president, Mary Grace Lewandowski, and I get to ask her 4 very simple questions that kind of everybody has swirling around in their head when they're thinking about possibly joining a direct sales company, or just learning about what direct sales is. Maybe you just want a side gig, need a little extra money, and that's what we're here for. Now, you may have been invited by a stylist. We hope you were. So definitely drop your stylist name in the comments so we can see who invited who. But I'm going to ask you to just sit back, listen with an open heart. This may be something that's very interesting to you, or you may be like, that doesn't fit for me, but my girlfriend down the street would love this. And we're going to ask you to invite those gals back or guys next week, because we go live every Monday night at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. So I'm going to ask 4 very simple questions. Mary Grace is going to give you the greatest answers. And every week I learn something new. So let's learn something new together. Mary Grace, let's start off with this simple one. We use the word direct sales all the time. Okay. That's what we explain what we do. So let's talk to the people. Why direct sales, and how does it differ from MLM or multi-level marketing?
Yeah, I think so many times people get them confused because they're similar businesses in that we run our own businesses. But multi-level marketing is really, the emphasis is on recruiting. The emphasis is on assuring that you have people coming in all the time and basically flipping them from customers to reps. That's really where the paycheck is. That's really where where they are programmed or instructed or trained to go with the whole thing. And it generally involves some kind of monthly fee on somebody's credit card, like something that they order, and then it every single month comes, what's that called? Automatic shipping, automatic deductions, and stuff like that.
I always call it a monthly hit. It's a monthly hit on a credit card.
It's a monthly hit on a credit card, right?
Yeah.
Direct sales is we're a party plan business, although 78% of our people do all online. So a party plan doesn't necessarily mean you have to actually leave your house to do it, but it's generally rewarding someone for sharing their friends and family with you. And it is definitely an emphasis more on providing a service, like a sale, direct sales. So we work directly with people as a liaison between our company, which in our case is Park Lane Jewelry, and the customer. We actually provide a service, and it's kind of different every time. It's not like, oh my gosh, you need to get your monthly shipment again, or oh, your monthly shipment didn't go through. Can I have your new credit card number? I think the diligence there and the concentration of where your time is actually very different. So we like to make sure that though they get confused, and both businesses have, I never would cut down another business, but they are very different businesses. And I personally absolutely love the direct sales model. That's my favorite thing.
I love it too. And I love the idea of being a direct seller for a client, because for a client, we're really a personal shopper. We're that liaison. You use that word all the time. And I love that. I loved that, I can be the preferred shopper for somebody when it comes to Park Lane Jewelry. It's, you can build that personal.
And it's just like, it's not just certain customers like every month getting the same thing. The variety and the people that we meet and the different places we can go and the different things we can do. Oh, it's just so powerful. And, in a nutshell, because I feel like I just need to say this, is direct sales really is running your own business with none of the risk and none of the overhead. And that's what my husband and I absolutely loved about it when I jumped in, because we used to say, oh, we should open our own business, but we never would have been courageous enough. I know we wouldn't have. But with this, to put my toe in that, pond, so to speak, and starting it at first to see if I liked it, and not having to put all my eggs in that basket. Like, so many people say things like, oh, thank you, but I already have a job. And my answer is always, well, good, because I truly, I never would have been brave enough to just go all in direct sales from day one. But when I was able to work it around my life, which anybody can do, because we don't have quotas or anything here, not in our company. So when you can work something around your life like that, and it can bring you in extra income far more powerfully than any kind of minimum wage job or close to it, It's really a life changer, and it's going to change your life for the better no matter what. It might be
Mhm.
that you just need $300 to send your kids to summer camp or something, or a sport, or I
Yeah.
don't even know what they're up to these days.
Yeah.
Or it might be that you're like, you know what, I want to make $300 a month so I can invest it and be a millionaire in no time. It's like whatever you want to do with it, that the power is here with Park Lane and in the direct sales market, because you get to decide when and if you want to work, if
And
it's
where?
convenient for you, where you want to work, like when you want to work. So it's been the most powerful, wonderful thing for all of us that have partaken in direct sales and continue to.
I have to say you touched on so many things that just
I
jumped out at
did,
me.
I did.
No, you really did, but you opened with the fact that you talked about you and your husband always wanting to start a business. Starting a business is not only scary, but it's extremely expensive. If you're starting a brick and mortar or even starting a business from home, it is not an easy thing to do, and it is not something that is taken lightly. With direct sales, you literally can dip your toe. You literally can learn as you go, and you literally can build successfully in a very strategic way. It's not a short time frame. If you want to
Okay.
be in it for the long haul, you can be in it
Yeah.
for the long haul.
I
So
think,
that's the fun thing about it.
you'll probably correct me because your husband has his own business. You guys own it together,
We do.
aside from doing this. But
We do.
I've heard on the average, it's at least 2 years before a business turns a profit. So
Uh,
you have to be
yeah.
prepared those first 2 years to just know that there's going to be more going out than coming in.
Yeah.
And with direct sales, I still remember the very first order I took was from my husband's secretary, and she ordered something really little. But I hung up the phone in those days, hung up the phone, and I was like, I just made $10. It's like,
Oh, it's an awesome realization. It's an
it was
awesome
an
realization.
awesome realization.
Yeah. And 30 years later, you still get excited when
Oh,
somebody
I
buys
sure
something because
do,
they
but it's
fall in
way
love
more
with it.
than $10. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's very
right?
fun.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so now that we know all about direct sales and even somewhat of how Park Lane fits into that, I would really love to know why jewelry is the way to go when you're talking
Yeah,
direct
and I
sales.
love to share this story. And again, if you've ever listened to Janine and I, these answers come in all different ways to the questions, and they pop up at different times. But
They do.
while we're on the subject of why jewelry, I do want to let you guys know that something that makes us incredibly different and wonderful and unique is the fact that Park Lane is the only direct sales business that will recognize people's their talent and their history, their work history. So, like, and that's what every other job does, like you don't have to start all over. If you were, an executive or something, you don't like start all over and go, work in the assembly line or whatever. You go looking for a job that meets your needs, that where you
I
can
love
do your best because you've already had experience. So,
right.
Park Lane will bring people in at a title and a pay that is commensurate with their experience. And both Janine and I have that story. We came from other direct sales companies. And when we chose our direct sales companies, honestly, it was just serendipity, finding good fortune as if by accident. It was like we were at a show and we thought, oh, I can try that,
I can do that.
and that's what we tried. And we loved it. We did really well at it. But had we taken the time from day one, which is what people do if it's like their second round, like if their company, like both of our companies, not gone, weren't doing too well, we knew we needed to look for something else. So aside from the fact that Park Lane would recognize our experience, which was very flattering and also the right thing to do, we started to learn the power of jewelry. And anybody who's looking at where to go in a direct sales career is so smart to choose jewelry from the beginning. So the people that were super smart to choose jewelry were our owners, and we're on the
Yeah.
second generation. But the first generation owners, Shirley and Arthur Levine, I always think this is such a neat story because the direct sales model was a new model. They started our company around when Mary Kay was starting, or Home Interior. No, Stanley Home Products was the big
Stanley
one.
Home
But
Products.
at
Yep.
any rate, they said we can see the power in that model. And they said, and also they were really nice people. They like to give, they like to give back. And they said, we won't only do this for our own family, but look at how many people that we can impact with a direct sales model where other people can also build wealth for their family, especially women in 1955. You weren't seeing women, having a lot of job opportunities. So I digress, but they decided that was going to be the model. They weren't sure what product, but they were kind of sure, like they were thinking a home product, like
Right.
pots and pans or something, whatever.
Well, that's what was out there then. Yeah.
And they were so smart because they hired consultants, and they said, let's like really make sure we're getting non-biased answers. So they hired three different ones from their three different companies, and they didn't tell the others that there was others, right? And they said, go out into the world and come back and be ready to defend your answer when you decide top three product choices. Well, it made the decision very easy for them, although they were a little taken aback when all three of them came back with jewelry as number one, and not just by a little. So all of the other choices varied or didn't match, but that first one all across the line was jewelry. And when they had to defend their answers, are things now that I feel really proud to say, but also I can tell you with 100% of truth that I've lived on. Okay. So, I mean, I'm like, you just don't believe the power of jewelry. So, okay. First of all, it withstands the test of time. If you're ever going to represent a product, you want to know it's going to be around for a long time. So it's been around forever, and it has a 43 billion like forecast or something in the next whatever. It's just incredible. Okay. Accessorizing just goes up in popularity. Regardless of the economy, jewelry is one of the only products that doesn't have a dip. If anything, we kind of go up in economic hard times because people maybe aren't buying a house or a car, but they'll buy like a necklace, right? People wear our product. Okay, yeah, duh. But it's so wonderful that they wear our product because when we're wearing our product, it gets recognized and we're able to segue into what we do very casually. But also, other people are out there wearing our product like crazy, our hostesses, our customers. So they're referring people back to us. So that's all really good stuff, you guys, really good stuff. The market, I mean, jewelry is for everybody, absolutely everybody. And it's one of the number one gifts in the world, candy, flowers, and jewelry. So, honestly, I dare you to go around and look because I did when I was trying to make this big decision of whether to come here. I went to church on a Sunday and I was looking around, and I tell you, every single person in that church had some piece of jewelry on. Now it might have just been a wedding ring or whatever, but still the symbolism, it has like an emotional connection. Those are things I learned later that absolutely delight the pants off me is what a feel good product it is. Jewelry like gets you compliments. It is a conversation starter. It makes you feel prettier. It does a really lot of neat things for people. And then from our vantage point, aside from the fact that people wear it and it's easier for us to start a conversation about it, it's very inexpensive to ship in store. Now we don't have to ship much because Park Lane does that. But if we have anything here to store to like show at our shows or show online, takes up hardly any space at all. My last product was candles and candle holders. I had to have a whole garage for it. And if we ever do have to ship something or toss it in an envelope, no big deal. So yeah, I'm sure that I've even forgotten some of what the consultant said, but I have lived it, and it is an absolutely amazing product to sell. Absolutely love representing jewelry. Wouldn't ever do anything else now. Not that I have any
now that we know. Now that we know, right?
Now that we know.
That's something I always like to touch on every week. I always like to talk about your leadership team. I mean, you have a group of men and women who have many years in the direct sales market space in other companies. You've got longevity because we found Park Lane and went, oh my goodness. Could you even imagine if this is where we started,
Yeah.
So that's
direct
the cool
sales
part.
is like a major now, or at least a course study at places like Harvard University. 85% of millionaires, female millionaires, are direct sellers or in the direct sales industry. So it is big business. And if you're going to pick it, pick something like jewelry, then you can really knock it out of the park.
Insane. It's insane when you think about it. The other thing I want to touch on is you talked about the direct hire program, and that's how all of us came in. I mean, you and I sitting here, that's how we came in. There's probably other people in the chat that came in that way. But I want to ask you, if you're listening to this right now and you were a part of another company, if you were a consultant for another company at some time in your life, drop a one in the chat, because I bet there's going to be a lot of people that are going to put ones in there, and you don't realize that you don't have to start at the bottom with Park Lane.
No, and it could have, you don't have to be with them presently. It could have been, in your
Years ago.
past that you did it. And you know what, Janine, I want to say something that I've never said before on this particular call. But because of the economy, because of the tariffs and things that are happening, we just got a letter the other day from our CEO, like absolutely to all customers, like prices are not going up, whatever. We've been around a long time. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But there are companies that are going under or making huge changes. We walk this really delicate line because when things like that are happening, people are upset, and if we right away, maybe we think we're helping problem solve, but if we right away go, you really should look at Park Lane because we'll recognize your experience. There's this line where you look a little like a vulture, maybe, or like you're using their bad news as something to leap on. If you're here as a listener and have been before, even just for the free jewelry, I think you kind of know our hearts by now. And really, if you ever run into someone like that, just be like, you really ought to check out Park Lane. I mean, no pressure or anything, but at least listen to what they have to say, because it just would come better from a third person than it does from us, because they just think, oh, here we go, and it's like, oh, but on the other hand, here you go, like, I know you're losing sleep. I know you're really upset, but I think I might have something that you'll end up saying, oh my gosh, thank God that happened, because that's what the two of us ended up doing. So
it is true, though, when you hear it from someone else, a lot of times it just lands differently, and it is upsetting when you see these other companies and what happens, because we've been around 70 years, and that says something. That is very, very powerful. I'm always so hesitant when I hear someone say, oh, it's a ground floor opportunity. I'm like, I don't want to get into a ground floor opportunity right now.
And the fact that we could join 50 years in and make as much money as anybody else, if not more. I mean, it's not, if you have to be on the ground floor in order to do really well, then look, think about that,
Reevaluate. Like, I think danger, Will Robinson, like that's what I think when I hear that. So we got a lot of ones in the chat. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for answering that question. So I really feel like we've hit a lot of key points tonight. But what I really want you to talk about is, what are the true key points of like Park Lane? Like, why is Park Lane the jewelry company to choose as opposed to other ones that are out there?
There are other jewelry companies out there and beautiful, beautiful things. What I found, in fact, I had this decision to make myself. What I found was that they don't have the variety that we have. Almost every single one of them has a certain market, like pearls, crystals, silver. You guys are probably all nodding like, oh yeah, oh yeah. I love the fact that we have such an extensive variety, to such a different line with something for everyone. And my customers have told me the same thing. It just hands down, it's our programs too. Nobody can touch our programs. And any professional will tell you that if you're looking into anything, that one of the number one things you want to check out is the program. So what I mean by this is, like, what does the company do for us to make our job easier? Okay. So first of all, we have a customer sale where the average order in our business is well over $100. And everybody is really happy about that because of the way Park Lane does it. It's buy two for regular, get four for half, blah, blah, blah. They feel amazing that they got a great deal. The hostesses that invited them feel amazing that their friends got a great deal. And we feel amazing, okay? Because, let's face it, most of us take a job for income. And when people go, oh, I'm going to sell $5 jewelry, great, but it's $5 jewelry. So, how much do you have to sell in order to make a decent living? And how many complaints are you going to get when that doesn't, and we have like our guarantee and everything. So it's a beautiful, beautiful product. I did not know a lot about jewelry when I came in, but people that know jewelry love our jewelry. They're like, this
Right.
is unbelievable. The hostess program is for when someone invites their friends and family to take a look at what we have to offer. So many different forms in which they can do that now. A lot of people do online, a Facebook show, a Zoom party, a messenger party, whatever. But we also have the ability to do them in person, which happens to be one of my favorite ways, but not a lot of people's favorite ways, but mine. We can just take jewelry to a wine bar or a coffee bar and show it's very portable. And the hostess gets anywhere from $400 to $1,000 in free and discounted jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you guys that with my last company, after a really good show where we had at least 10 people there spending a good amount of money, they were thrilled if they got $100.
100
At
bucks. I
Park
was just
Lane, we
thinking a
walk
100
in,
bucks.
yeah, knowing that they are going to get at least $100 in jewelry. We walk in knowing that we're going to be able to do that, so that's so cool. And then of course there's the profit program, which we are the highest paid in the industry, and we're so solid, and that really is important in today's world with the aforementioned things. But we've been around since 1955. We're cash rich. We're debt free. They've had a lot of experience. They've had time to stockpile a lot of money. They were there for us during COVID. They're there for us now.
Sure.
It's just such a good feeling to know that the inventory is going to be there, that we're going to get paid every week. We get paid every week. Really, you guys, I tripled my income from my last company for so many reasons, but not for working way harder. I
Right.
hate to admit that, but it's true. But just because the programs are so much richer. And then anything that you could ever want. We could get carried away with all this, but they try to think like, what would really motivate someone? What would make them so thrilled? What would get them up and excited to go to work in the morning? Maybe it would be travel. Okay, Park Lane has 2 trips a year. Maybe it would be if we paid for their car. Okay, they have a Mercedes program. Maybe, because so many of us got into this business because we just love jewelry, what if they could earn up to $1,000 in free jewelry every month? Maybe that would be it. What if they got paid on their own sales? Every time they placed an order, they also got paid. There's no direct to company direct discount. It's like, no, we get paid, and we love all that. That's extremely unusual. So even if you're a customer, the smartest thing to do is to join Park Lane so you can get the friends and family discount.
Right.
It's like, why not
Right.
get, 30 to 50% back on your paycheck every time you place an order, right? And like have first dips and everything. So I'm sure that I left out some really important things, but I hope that you could see through my enthusiasm. Like it's an amazing place to be. There's nobody like Park Lane.
Right.
And our organization, there's nobody like us. It's just absolutely wonderful. People lifting each other up, hundreds of years of experience. And most often, if people
Yeah.
are questioning whether they should do something, it's because they're fearful. Well, what if I don't know what to do? What if none of my friends want to have a show? What if whatever this? We got that. We're not the least worried about that. We can teach you that and show you that. And we basically have a cut and paste business where I pay somebody to do all of our images, and you could have 30 days of content, starting May 1st, well, you could start tomorrow, but 30 days of content of what you would put up on your page and stuff. So we try to make it easy peasy for you, duplicatable, and we want so much for you. So if you jump, we'll catch you.
That's exactly what it is. I think it's just having the faith and knowing that you're going to try. And if you try, we've got the programs and the processes and the people to
Yes.
help you get to where you want to be. So that's what I love about what we do here as an organization. Why is now the time to join? Why should people
what, you
just
guys,
say yes?
no matter what, why now is the time to book a show. First of all, I
Exactly.
think we love to make people happy. So imagine how happy the person who invited you would be if you said, you know what, I'm going to have a show.
Right.
I love that feeling of making someone so happy like that. It's going to be so fun. There's always, even if you just had one, there's always a way to have a different one with different groups of people or a different way of doing it. But the other reason you want to book a show is because that's how we start people. It is the smartest way to start because what we're doing is we are doing the show, but you are getting to watch what we're doing in a different way.
Right.
We're getting all your friends and family to be your jewelry customers instead of ours going forward. And you get paid for the show. So it's like immediate. And you will have people in your life that are like, what are you doing? You shouldn't do that. I love when 3 days later I could show my paycheck to my husband and his exact words were, you go, girl. So it's a very smart way to start. Um, we are in a change of season. Whenever
Mhm.
we're in a change of season, it is such a wonderful time to jump on the fashion bandwagon. Okay. We'll have a new capsule dropping sometime in the next month or so. And we just had a new capsule drop not that long ago.
Right.
So, and we get new jewelry every single month. But people are looking, especially now, they're really looking for something to brighten up their moods and stuff. People say, how much does it cost? Okay, well, first of all, you're having a show and you're getting paid for the show. You're getting to pick the hostess stuff from the show. But up front, it's $129.
Hmm.
But for that $129, you get your own personal website so people can like order while you sleep. You get access to all of Park Lane's back office stuff and all of the images and everything that I told you about. And you get to pick $500 worth of jewelry. Right now it's 600.
Yeah.
$600 this week of jewelry for $129. So that in itself is a deal. So when I say $129, people are thinking, oh, here we go. And I'm like, what? If I said that at a show, like, just give me $129 and pick $600 worth of jewelry. I mean, everybody would
Yeah.
be doing it. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and now is always the right time. But definitely book a show because then we call them decider shows. And it's like, if you're a little bit excited, if you have a little bit of that feeling, if there's even a little inkling in you that went, huh, I never heard it put that way before. And 'tis the season. We're looking at April 15th, right? Do you know one of the number one ways to become rich in America is to open your own business?
Yeah.
And the way
It'd
that
be
it's written is,
expensive.
even if you don't make any money on your business, you'll make money on your business because
Okay.
today your jewelry was an expense.
Yep.
Join tonight your jewelry's a write-off.
Yep.
And postage, parts of your house. Like, I don't even want to get into all of it, but it is such a Benny that I cannot even begin to tell you what a great part of our business that is. And I hate to be stereotypical, but a lot of times it's the support people in our life that are questioning what we're doing.
Right.
And when we put that on the table, they go, oh, I love that part. I don't know why. Guys, especially, they're just like, wait, what? They're more attracted by what they hear they can save than what they think maybe you're not going to make. So, very fun. Am I over? I can't see. I don't want
We
to keep
are, but
people
it's
too long.
okay. It's okay
Okay.
because you're in detail. You're where we need to be. We have people engaged. We have 40 people in here listening. And I couldn't be more proud of the fact that everybody's listening and they're talking and you're asking questions and you're just chit-chatting about what you love about Park
Are
Lane.
there any
And I
questions?
find well, questions like, there things that the stylist can answer,
Okay.
nothing that was
Yeah.
deep to us, just saying things, out loud. But a lot of people are saying how much they love the jewelry and how much some people are starting, doing parties and things like that.
Yeah.
So really, I think what I'm getting from this is no matter what, at the end of the day, what we would love you to do is book a party with the stylist that invited you here, dip your toe, have 10 of your friends buy a $40 piece of jewelry and make back your kit money in 2.2 seconds. I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
plus get a paycheck. But if you are interested and then you do your party and you're like, I'm not interested, that's fine. Your stylist would be happy to take the money and give you the jewelry. I mean,
everybody wins.
it's a win-win situation. And I would love for you to just say one more thing, because I always love when you say this, but what do you say about you'll come into Park Lane and you'll never leave without more than you came in?
When you come into Park Lane, should you ever choose to leave someday, you will always, 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 even if it's just a day that you stay in, you will always leave with more than you came with. Nobody ever gets hurt by Park Lane. And I think that's just a sad thing of society, is that we're so sure there's a hidden something.
Yeah.
So Janine's putting up or somewhere's the Google form. I'll let her tell where.
I actually did I put it up when you started talking about the fourth
that's
thing,
your
but I'm going to
entry,
put it up
girls
again.
and guys. Yeah, just click on it, fill it out completely. So many people forget to fill it out completely. Like, I need to know your name or you're not going to win. Who invited you, and then I choose a winner and I make sure that I get you something. I mean, I get messages from people like, "Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I wanted," because they'll tell me what they like the most or what kind of pieces or whatever. I have fun doing it. I love to do it. So be sure to fill out those Google forms. Thank you so much for joining us. Invite
Yeah.
friends next Monday. And remember, when you're hearing about someone that's a little worried or has been in another job for a long time and they're seeing some signs, send them our way. We'd love to help people. We'd love to turn a negative into a positive. And just so you know, we are extremely understaffed. Park Lane is the best kept secret. We have nearly enough jewelry people to cover the business that's out there. So wherever you are, it is not saturated. Your reality might be like, oh well, I'm not at a party all the time. That's just because that's circle. But there is so much out there for us to do, and we would love for you to help us. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Have a great night and happy Easter to everyone.